In this opportunity, we are going to analyze the utility of grouping data, of rearranging data into ranges, into groups, to allow a more efficient analysis. And I will show you why sometimes we need to do this grouping. Suppose I am the manager of a building with 40 flats and I am renting these apartments at these prices. These are the prices. I'm renting 40 apartments at these different prices. How many different prices, unique prices I have in these 40 apartments? So I will use the formula unique is, and I select the array, and I can see this is my list. I have 33, you can see here, 33 different unique prices. So it's very difficult to analyze 33 different data points. Suppose I insist of doing that. It's not the most efficient way of doing it, but let us do it to show you how inefficient it is. So I will do count if, and I will select the range, and then I will choose the criteria. I want this list to count how many times 300 is repeated, how many times 287 is repeated, how many times 303 is repeated, and so on. Okay, enter. There it is, you see. So I have one time repeated, one time, 3 times, and so on. If you add all this, it's giving you 32. It should be 33. Sorry, it should be 40 because I have 40 flats, right? All right, so let's graph this and see how it looks like. Insert, graph. There we are. You see, it's very difficult to make sense out of this data. The data is cluttered. Move chart to a new sheet. And even if I add values of the prices of each apartment, it's very difficult to analyze. You know, I don't know what is the midpoint. I don't know which value is the highest or is a more concentrated. So this is not an efficient way of analyzing data. What I need to do now, I need to range my data or group my data into ranges and see how we can make sense of this data so it's not so cluttered, it's not so dispersed, I mean. So parameters, the first thing I need to establish is how many different prices, not different prices, how many prices I have, number of data, not unique, I'm not talking about different prices, how many prices. So the number of data or number of value is count, and I'll select my so I have 40 prices, not different, sorry. 40 prices because I have 40 apartments, right? Some of them are repeating itself. For example, 294 is repeating twice, right? Okay, then I have to determine what is the maximum value is equal to the max of the list. My maximum value is 327. My minimum value is equal to minimum of, I need to do all this to range my data, to group my data more efficiently. Then I have to calculate what is called in statistics range, which is the difference between the max and the min. Simple as that. It's 76. Then this is the critical calculation. I need to calculate how many number of classes or number of ranges. Let's call it number of classes, okay? How many classes I should have. And the formula for this is 1 plus 3.3 times the natural logarithm of 40 of the number of data. So that's 6.28. Of course, I cannot group my data into 6.28 classes, right? It has to be a round number. So let me round up. I will rewrite this formula, round up. And then I'll put a comma because I don't need any decimal, comma 0, enter. So I will have 7 different classes. And to know how large each class will be, or the width, they call it the width of, or the amplitude of the class, it will simply be the range divided by the class. And again, I will round up, because I cannot have a range of 10.86. Round up, comma 0, so it's 11. Now with this information, I can build my table. So class, we said that we have, how many classes we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Okay. Now I need to establish my lower limit and my upper limit. Okay. The lower limit is simply the minimum value of your data, 251. Okay. So it will be increasing by a width of 11, right? According to your formula. So it will be this plus 11. So 262 will be the next range until 317. And the upper limit will be this minus 1. Okay, so I will just drag until there. And the last value will be the maximum, So in your table, the first, this value and this value should be, oops, sorry, what did I do? Should be this and this. Okay. Now I need to calculate what in statistics is called the midpoint, which is simply the average, the arithmetic mean is the exact terminology, but you can use the average formula like that. And with that information, I can build my frequency, what in statistics they call frequency. And I will just use the frequency formula in Excel. So I'll select my array, the frequency, the data range, the data array, comma, and my bin array will be the upper limit. That's it. So now, if I add all the frequency, it should add up to 4. Because what is this telling me? It's telling me that in the range of 251 and 261, I have 3 apartments that are leased in this range. In the range between 262 and 272, I have 8 apartments. In the range between 273 and 283, I have 7 apartments, and so on. So as you can see, let us graph this. Insert recommended graph. It should be, we can select this. It should. We will move to a new move chart to a new sheet, so it's bigger and more readable. My Excel got frozen, unfortunately. Okay, let's keep it here in the same Excel sheet. It's not moving because there's a lack of RAM memory on the computer. So to make sense of this data, okay, what I'll do now, I'll add the values, data labels. We are building a histogram, so in a histogram we don't have gaps. I should eliminate the gaps, okay? So to do that, I will right click, I will do format data series, and here where it says width, I will decrease to 0, huh? Okay, then the last formatting, I need to see the borders because it's not very clear, so I select border, solid border line, color black is okay, and let's make it like 2 so it's more visible. You see, this is my final histogram. Let's increase the size of this font so it's more visible. Font, let's make it I don't know, let's make it 20, and the color will be black so it's more visible. So there we are, we finished with our histogram. So that's my point. Imagine if you compare this graph that we did before without grouping, without arranging it into ranges, and this graph, which one is easier to understand? Obviously this one, right? So by analyzing this chart, I know that these two ranges has 3 and 8 values. 3 apartments rented at this range and 8 apartments rented in this range. So these are underpriced. So I should negotiate a higher price on this range. And this one is overpriced, which I don't mind having overpriced apartments. Huh? So I hope this lesson was useful.